Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another casual champion review. You might notice we're on a different map this time. That's not really intentional. You'd expect trying to get Ashe and ARAM over and over again. It would not be the most ideal situation, but I was just playing a couple ARAMs to warm up, and wouldn't you know it, I got her. So this is almost poetic, isn't it? Playing Ashe on ARAM. You know what else is poetic? The fan art segment, yes. I was so happy on the last video. I made a comment saying how I thought maybe you fellas might have found it intrusive or you didn't like it too much, but there were so many positive comments that you guys really liked seeing it too. That made me even double happy because I really like all the artists taking the time to do this stupid challenge thing that didn't really even matter, I guess. I don't know. I fucking love it. Alright, on to the video. So we all know that ARAM games are a bit shorter, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up real quickly, and that's not too bad because I don't have a whole lot to say about Ashe. I mean, most of the criticisms you've probably heard about this character you've heard 1,000 times, you know, same face syndrome, outdated, gameplay stiff and boring, just all that stuff. I also took the time to read Ashe's comic over again just so I could have a bit of a refresher because I haven't read it since it came out. I'm so happy they made the Katarina comic, by the way. We haven't had a new comic since I think Zed was the last one, or was it Lux? I don't know. One of those. It used to have all those comic deals and then something fell through and I'm not sure. I really like the style of the Ashe comic though. I think visually it's probably my favorite, but after reading the Katarina comic, like, I don't know, the story of the Ashe comic is, I mean, I get they're trying to cover a lot more ground than Katarina, but stuff just kind of happens out of nowhere. Like, maybe spoilers for a comic that came out like 5 years ago or whatever it is now. Sejuani and Ashe become oath sisters and they pledge themselves to each other like, yes, I'll be by your side forever. And then literally the next page is when they have to separate. I'm actually doing like not so bad damage here. Oh, Katarina moment. You may also notice my build looks a little interesting. I know it's frowned upon these days to go AP Ashe, although it's more like Imperial Mandate Ashe, not really AP. But I'm going all the way, baby. I'm gonna go full one shot. These arrows are gonna be hitting like a truck. So for the lore, Ashe is the daughter of Grenna, who is the war mother of the Avarosan tribe. War mothers are basically just the leaders. And Sejuani is also her friend, although from a different tribe, but they get along really well together. Ashe's mom grew up obsessed with prophecy and finding the fabled throne of Avarosa, which probably has treasures or power or something that she thinks will make her tribe strong, because the Avarosans have been dwindling a little bit, trying to fight for survival, a lot like the modern-day Winter's Claw. Ashe rejected a lot of the teachings of her mom. She didn't really like how blood-soaked their path was and wanted to go down a new path. One that's more centered around kindness and helping people in need and surviving together like a community. Don't worry, I get out of this. See, Katarina moment. Ashe gained a bit of a reputation for helping out the Hearthblood, which are really, that's just like the Iceborne name for normal people. The Hearthblood are kind of helpless and at the mercy of the Iceborne, so she has a compassion for helping them out because she values all of the people equally. This is going into the comics a bit. They go on a quest to find the throne of Avarosa, and pretty much all the Avarosans die, including Ashe's mom, along the way. And then she meets up with Sejuani, and their relationship goes to shit when their political ideals differ, and Sejuani wants to weed out and kill the weak, mainly the Hearthblood, whereas Ashe wants to protect them. So she leaves with this group of Hearthblood to form her new Avarosan tribe. And then later down the line, a bunch of different individual tribes join the Avarosans as they share the similar ideals, and they like the idea of not having to fight for survival anymore, or, you know, a peaceful failure. It seems ideal to them. That's how we get characters like Gragus and Tryndamere. Well, speaking of Tryndamere, I guess, then she had to be wed, because it's a tradition in Freljord, I guess, which is weird because Ashe's whole tribe's about breaking tradition, but whatever. And she decides that all this political squander is not worth the time, so she marries just some barbarian king. Was the leader of the barbarians? I don't know if he's a king or what, but he's the leader of the barbarian tribes. And neither of them are very happy about it, mostly just to get the whole thing about being wed off their backs, and it's purely political to unite their tribes, whatever. But eventually it blooms into a romantic one. Nice, I helped. So yeah, her lore is not anything too crazy. It hasn't changed a whole lot over time. A lot like her design. I'm fucking dead. I think it's funny we're still on the A train of champions. I think I mentioned it in the Amumu video or the Anavio one. It's so many of the A champions are just those are like peak outdated, models old, design old. At least, you know, Ashe did get a visual update, albeit her visual update was back in like 2012. She did get a voice line update though. It's good. Although I feel like voice line updates, when the model still looks so old, it feels like a job half done. You know what I mean? Like Nidalee, the voice line update is fantastic, but look at her model, man. Like I can't take those voice lines seriously. You got all these cool voice lines, the character that makes sense, and you get their personality done right. They just look like shit. Oh. Don't you see, Renato Glass? Oh, shit. Oh, nice try, guy. Oh. Oh. This is easy. This character's so fucking easy. In Ashe's voice lines, I feel like it's weird because she acknowledges how bad her design is. She has a voice line where she's talking to Braum, and I think she says something along the lines. I think she says something along the lines of, "Hey, Braum, no shirt, huh? And I don't have any pants. Hooray, Freljord!" Like, thank you, Riot Games, for acknowledging that this character looks like garbage. Can we make her look good now, please? And there's the age-old argument of, well, you know, she's Iceborn, and Iceborn are immune to the cold, so why does she need to put on clothes, you know? Braum and Tryndamere and Gragas, they don't got any shirts on. They're all Iceborn. Which I don't... Is Braum an Iceborn? I think he is, right? But the big thing about that is, one, yes, Tryndamere and Gragas also look fucking awful. Hold on, I got this. This character's hitboxes work. But it's a common misconception that the Iceborn are immune to the cold. That's not true. They are resistant to it. That's why the whole character in the Silas comic, or no, Silas short story, there was an Iceborn girl, and she was special because she was fully immune to the cold. That was like a whole point of the story. Then Silas steals her powers and she's freezing to death. But the Iceborn are only resistant to extreme cold. Like, they can still be hurt by it. That's what makes Braum interesting, because his whole thing is that he's supposed to be a measure of strength to show that he's like a folk hero. He's a living legend. So him running around in the negative 40-degree weather. Oh. It adds to his character. But with Ashe and Tryndamere and Gragas, they're kind of just running around shirtless for no reason. Not even like practical. Like, I get Braum showing off his muscles, but like, I don't know, Tryndamere never really added up for me. Gragas never really worked for me. Ashe doesn't work. Especially when you have in contrast like Sejuani. I don't know if any League Zoomers saw what Sejuani looked like before her visual update, but she was literally running around the Freljord in a bikini. It was is not good. Again, very old character. She wasn't designed to be this great leader of the Freljord, one that people look up to and are inspired by, and that of royal status. Well, not royal, but you know, as birthright leadership status, as someone of high importance. She just looks like any generic Frost Archer you've seen 1,000 times. And that's because she was made in 2009, and that's what characters were. It's why she's got the thigh highs and the skirt and the boob window, and she even has fucking nipple armor. I implore you to look at that new Ashe model, or the new Ashe statue that just got released. It's very prominent and looks really weird. And I'm going to be going over a lot of talking points that TV Skyen did in his video when he was talking about designing a better Ashe. As mostly, like I said, a lot of the stuff that's been said about Ashe has been said 1,000 times. But he also mentioned in this video, ouch, he also mentions it in his video, that sexualization of a character is not a bad thing. I mean, look at Evelyn, look at Misfortune, ouch, it works for them as characters because being sexy is what their character is about. That's a defining piece of them. With Ashe, it has literally nothing to do with her. Not only is it wildly impractical for what she's running around with in the Freljord, not only does her character motivation entirely contradict trying to be sexually appealing to a suitor. That's why she married Tryndamere, because she hated that stuff. But she also, just like Leona, she doesn't look like the tribe she belongs to. Hold on, wait, I got this. Die. Oh, got him. And then I teleport. Hello. That's a tank Vigar, by the way. I feel like half of these designs I criticize in this way are partly in thanks to Legends of Runeterra, because now we have reference, right? We have reference for what the Solari actually look like, and they look awesome. And Leona doesn't look like any of them. And now with Ashe, we have reference for what the Avarosans look like, and she doesn't look like any of them. Like, you're gonna tell me that this person who looks the least Avarosan out of all these guys is actually the leader of them? Get out of here. I think another thing that people like to talk about a lot of the time with Ashe, and is very frequent with a lot of female champions, in fact, is same face syndrome. I think Ashe is the biggest culprit of it. We get it all the time, you know, stuff with Debonair LeBlanc, right? That looks like Misfortune. Or we even get it with the men. We get Debonair, sorry, not Debonair. God, those skin lines, all the suit skins all look the same. What is it? Crystal Rose, Talon, just looks like Kane. We get so much champion face repetition. There's not many characters in League that have very immediately recognizable facial structures. I think the ones that come to mind for me, Talia is the obvious one. And we're talking about humans. Probably Samira is up there as well. But with Ashe, I like you see the icons and I struggle to remember who that character is. Ashe's face is just the most plain, basic white woman face I've seen in a video game. I wish she had more discernible features. Like Sejuani you can usually recognize when it's Sejuani. Or Lissandra's, I mean, Lissandra's got the big-ass helmet, but I think there's a reason people say, is that Ashe? Whenever they see a new skin for a champion where they didn't bother to give them any distinguishing facial features, because Ashe is the default. Amumu does more damage to me than I do to him when hit by that ability. Oh, watch this. Boom. Oh, that's meaty. That does some big damage now. I did also mention TV Skyan earlier. That's not just because I watch his videos and he's a very cool guy, but also because he did make a big video talking about his hypothetical changes for what he would do to Ashe. And he got a person to help commission him some work, and they proposed 2 ideas. And there was one that was like the Warrior Ashe, which was a lot thinner, more battle-scarred, a lot closer anatomy-wise anyway, or body shape-wise to Katarina Moment. A lot more closely anatomically to current Ashe. And then there was the second, the chubby Ashe. That video sparked so much animosity, mainly on Twitter, which I find baffling. And people were poking like, look at this guy criticizing champions and then saying that his is superior and then blah, 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 making Ashe fat, whatever. And I'm thinking of like, these people who talk like that really did only skip to the very end to see the final design and didn't listen to anything else they had to say in the video. No listening to their explanations behind it. Oh, no listening to their thought process behind what they were doing and their disclaimers. You know, he explicitly says in the video that this design is not, like their fan-made designs were not better, that design is subjective. The series was called Building a Better Ashe. Ow! It was called Building a Better Ashe because that's easy for a YouTube title, and it grabs attention. So I guess the 2 different versions. Personally, I am more fond of the Warrior Ashe. I think it works better for her story. I see where they're coming from with chubby Ashe. They're trying to cater more to the compassionate. Like that's the kind of Ashe that's like, you settle down, you don't need to fight anymore, you live in okay. You look more like a mom, I guess, in that sense. And well, I agree that works. I think for Soraka, personally, I think a chubby Soraka works a lot better in that regard. Ashe, I never viewed that way. Oh, watch this, though. And, oh, and you're dead. Who's the Grim Reaper now? That's me. So I get what he's trying to go with there. He's trying to make a more compassionate Ashe, but I never viewed her as a mom figure. I viewed her more as like just a leader, you know? But I think making her chubby, personally, if she's still trying to be a fighter, the design they came up with in any case, you can still have chonky fighters. Ouch. But I think that rendition, personally, I wouldn't see working in the way that Ashe is supposed to currently. The Warrior one, definitely, she looks a lot more nimble, a lot more agile. But I really like, I think the scars especially. The scars give her so much character and a good parallel to Sejuani as well. Because I think Sejuani's got a scar on her. And then Ashe's got a scar. It gives you that little bit of connection to each other. Not only that, but they made the garb of Ashe overall just so much better. Really bring in the Avarosan aesthetics we've come to know now with the bright blues and the white fur trimmings. I know that Legends of Runeterra and Wild Rift did that a little bit, but this new design, I think, really hammered home that idea. And of course, making sure that most of the parts of her are covered, obviously the parts that wouldn't need to be. I've personally found the Warrior Ashe to be more convincing of the kind of character that is being presented to us in the lore. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with either of them. I like both iterations. I prefer the Warrior one, of course, but I think it was very strange to see people getting so up in arms. Oh wait, what, 3, 2, 1. It's up again, you idiots! 2 seconds. That's the only ult I've missed this game. And this game's probably going to end soon. Like I said, ARAM game's a lot shorter, so I guess we go over the gameplay really quick. This is pretty fun. AP Ashe, this is silly and stupid, and I like it. I gotta be honest, though, I fucking despise normal Ashe. I really do. And I hate Mandate Ashe. I hate it all. Holy shit, the game's actually ending so quickly. I didn't have any time talking about the gameplay. Alright, well, gameplay sucks, though. I'm gonna say that right now. Alright, thank you for this. Next week, we get to play a fun champion. We get to play Aurelion Sol. I'm so excited. Okay, I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Ooh.